Hi, in this video, I would like to address the phenomenon of internal anti-Semitism, where it is cool to be anti-Israel within the Jewish community. In case you don't know, anti-Israel rhetoric is anti-Semitic because Israel is Jewish. It seems that now more than ever, Jews accept lies about Israel as truth because we are living in an anti-Semitic echo chamber where the lies are repeated many times, day in and day out. Lying about Israel is now done openly within the Jewish community and even from the Jewish pulpit. During a recent Friday evening service in a neighborhood Reform congregation, the presiding rabbi delivered an anti-Israel sermon from the pulpit. He framed it as internal anti-Semitism. He started the sermon by quoting a definition of anti-Semitism. It didn't matter which definition he chose, because all of them include hateful feelings, thoughts, and beliefs as forms of anti-Semitism, not only assault, harassment, and vandalism. The reason this is important is because by the definition of anti-Semitism, his sermon qualified as an anti-Semitic sermon. To my astonishment, he asserted that Israel is on the wrong side of politics for electing the wrong candidate for a prime minister in the recent elections. Within the context of internal anti-Semitism, he either accused the newly elected prime minister, his party, Israel, or Israelis with anti-Semitism. The evidence the rabbi provided consisted of the assassination of a former Israeli prime minister, which took place in the 1990s. The assassination took place soon after the former prime minister, who was later assassinated, signed a peace agreement with a terrorist organization. The peace agreement was followed by a protest against it, and in the crowd there were a few anti-Semitic signs that were quickly put down by the crowd. The next event, chronologically, was the assassination of the former prime minister. The rabbi presented the anti-Semitic signs as evidence for hatred that led to the assassination. The faulty peace agreement was made with a wolf that guarded the chicken coop of terrorists and did nothing to stop terrorism. It didn't merit the tragic loss of life, but that wasn't the point of the sermon. The point that the rabbi presented was that the assassination was a part of an anti-Semitic conspiracy by the right-wing political party. I looked up the conspiracy, but other than old sensational headlines next to headlines of the Kennedy assassination, I couldn't find any facts to substantiate a conspiracy, nevertheless an anti-Semitic conspiracy. A video from the protest showed the prime minister the rabbi was bashing, telling the protesters that the peace agreement was a mistake, but not an act of treason, as some of them were shouting. But apparently, this was not what the rabbi wanted his audience to know. If nothing else, this rabbi was at least guilty of overlooking the obligation of due diligence before abusing the power of the pulpit to deliver fake news to the congregation with language and imagery that appeal to the emotions with complete absence of facts. After the service, when chatting with the people who were in the audience, I heard at least one person next to me exclaiming, "I hate Israel. I hate Israelis." You might be able to see the irony here, that while the rabbi accused the newly elected Israeli prime minister with inciting a hate protest and the assassination, in actuality it was the congressional rabbi who incited his audience to hate Israel and Israelis, nevertheless the newly elected Prime Minister. To add salt to injury, while pointing out a few anti-Semitic signs that were put down, the rabbi himself incorporated Nazi visualization of Eichmann to supplement his sermon. And if that didn't seal the deal, and the audience wasn't incited to hate Israel yet, he reminded the audience that in the past Israel didn't recognize the Reform movement as authentic Judaism. After making the point that we are destroying our Jewish community from within with internal anti-Semitism, the rabbi ended the sermon by saying that he doesn't know from where the next anti-Semitic phase is going to come. This contradiction aside, he demonstrated that it is very possible that we are destroying ourselves from within with anti-Israel feelings, thoughts, and beliefs. He demonstrated that it is not cool but uncool to bash Israel, especially from the Jewish pulpit. He demonstrated that the next phase of anti-Semitism is already here and is coming from people like him. If you didn't know, now you know. Bye.